5 stubborn homeowners refuse to budge. Number 1. Edith Macefield's Up House. The house, once owned by Edith Macefield, happened to be in the way of commercial development progress. 84-year-old Edith had other plans for her century-old house. She went on to become a hero when she refused the $1 million offer for her place, which was a lot more than it was actually worth. Ultimately, the 5-story structure had been built around her house. What's even more interesting is that the construction foreman had taken a liking to Edith, and they soon became friends. Some even think that this house had been the inspiration for the film Up. Number 2. House in the middle of a highway. Living in an abandoned area is one thing, but what about living right in the middle of a 4-lane highway? This is an example from China, where 3 families had reportedly linked arms and absolutely refused to let any of the bulldozers to demolish their homes. Surprisingly, the government eventually relented and built the massive highway all around the building that housed these families. The government may have even assumed that all the noise, as well as the hustle and bustle, would convince the owners to sell, but they certainly underestimated the stubbornness of these families. Number 3. The Stubborn Nail House. In China, a phenomenon known as the nail houses exists. These are certain homes that homeowners will absolutely refuse to sell under any circumstances. Unlike in other countries, the people who want to buy these properties are real estate moguls looking for their next quick buck. In China, the government will do anything to get the residents to sell, and they don't even have a problem playing dirty. There are times when electricity and water are even cut off to people's homes just because they refuse to move. And yet, these persistent owners will not budge an inch. Number 4. Austin Spriggs, who had a pizza pie in the sky dream. The opening of the convention center back in 2003 in Washington, D.C. had allowed the neighboring property values to soar. This happened to be incredible news for Austin Spriggs and his wife. They had bought their 2-story brick home almost 30 years earlier for approximately $135,000. However, the convention center changed everything, and developers began scooping up every property in sight. Somehow, Austin Spriggs and his home stood tall. Spriggs was eventually offered $1.5 million, which he countered with a demand for a staggering $10 million. He was then offered $3 million. Spriggs decided that he would make his fortune in an honest way and open a pizzeria instead. For years had passed, and huge towers had now surrounded the lonely house. Sadly, the pizzeria remained a dream, and Spriggs eventually decided to put the house up for sale for $1.5 million, the price he had first been offered. Number 5. Wu Ping kept rejecting offers for years. Wu Ping and her husband, Yang Wu, own quite a 2-story building in the most ideal location in Chongqing, China. What the couple considered to be this ideal location was also viewed the same way by developers looking to build a brand new shopping mall. 280 families they sold their property in that area to the developers, but the couple refused to budge. They stayed put even though everything around them had completely been torn to the ground. The ground around them had also been dug down, leaving them on a relatively thin part of the land. But they managed to stay there for 3 whole years. The courts soon ruled that the couple had to leave, but Yang found a way to sneak back in and stay for a little longer.